What's up, Jarel? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Good, man. Thanks for joining me on Labor.
Anytime.
I know you asked me who do I have to kill to get on the show.
Listen. I saw a lot of clips, and I was like, I remember. I checked my phone. I said, I remember getting an invite or nothing. Not a single text saying, "Hey, you want to come on?" And I was just offended.
I was just prepping myself for you. I need to get some practice in, make sure I know what I'm doing before I get to you.
All right, yeah. I was just like, all right, I gotta kill someone. Obviously, I need to be on this show. So thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you being here, taking time. Today we're going to talk about adversity. This is a topic you chose. We're going to cover it with a lot of different people, and you'll be the first one to talk about it. Little backstory, how we know each other, went to St. John's.
Yes.
The funny story I always bring up when I talk about how I met Jarel is that we actually lived together in the same dorm room. I had the room next to you, but we barely talked to each other.
Barely spoke. It was like, oh, what's up, man? Going to class? All right, cool.
Yeah, that was basically it. But I had mad respect for you because you were just always bringing girls in.
Hey.
The good old days, the good old days.
Oh, hey.
But now you're settled down, you're happy, man.
You know, gotta grow up sometime.
We all grow up. Me too. So, but yeah, before we dive into the topic, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about yourself, your story, where you are right now in life.
A little about myself. Currently, I'm an attorney. Let's take a couple steps back. Let's go to the beginning. Born, raised in New York, spent half my life here. Went to high school in Atlanta, so partially raised there. Came back to New York, went to St. John's where I met you. Moved to North Carolina, went to law school, stayed down there for 3 years, and then now I'm back in New York, working full-time as an attorney doing commercial real estate. Also have a podcast, Cooling Out, so make sure you guys listen to that as well.
Yeah, and we'll get into that at the end because I think it's important people know about Cooling Out.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll just talk about it right now, actually. I think Cooling Out, the first time I was telling Kev, I got on an interview with Cooling Out. I think that actually inspired me in a way to do what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because
thank you.
I never opened up the way I did during that interview we did, and I felt really good afterwards. It was very therapeutic, and then to see Camille, my fiance, do it, and hear her do it, and I was like, wow, this was fun. Like, it was unlike me to do anything like that, so I got out of my comfort zone, but then, not doing it now and hearing more of your talks, I think it's a great way for people to open up. And
thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm honored by that. Wow.
All right. So why did you get into law?
Ooh. I mean, if I can be honest, it was more so like my parents always. I love like arguing and debating, and my parents just always be like, "Oh, you're gonna be a good lawyer. You're gonna be a good lawyer," and I just wanted to do a career. I was gonna make money, and to be like honest with you, like I started off. I applied when I first applied to colleges. I applied to be an engineer, and then I was like, I'm not gonna like that. And then I used to work as a pharmacy technician in high school, and the pharmacist told me he was making so much money. And I was like, I'm gonna be a pharmacist. And then I went to St. John's. I was in the pharmacy program for the first 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. This is not for me. Way too much science. I was the only black kid in the entire program. I was like, all right, this ain't for me. And then I got introduced to this legal studies program, and I took one class in legal studies. It was like introduction to the law or something like that, and I just really like gravitated towards it. I felt like law is about just having an extreme rationale and logic, and like that's how I carry myself. Everything has to be logical for me to make sense. Like my girlfriend hates that sometimes, but like I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like I take emotion out of a lot of things. I'm like, this is what the letter of the law is: logic. So my parents told me I should be a lawyer, but then I also kind of like took my own route and fell back into it, and I'm happy. I enjoy it.
So money was the initial maybe driving force, but now as you got into it,
money became the initial driving force because I grew up without money. So my initial like goal growing up was to always make money. I want to make money. I want to make sure that I can have money because for the most part, no one in my family had money. So like that was my entire like rationale. My career choice was like, all right, how much money do people make, and what can I do to make money? And it just like so happened that we'll go into that also, but like it just so happened a lesson in my life was that not every lawyer makes money. Like, I'll go more in depth than that, and we'll get to that point. But it wasn't an easy road. Like,
no, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you went through a lot of school, a lot than a lot of us, and just going after a law degree, you have to go through a lot of adversity.
Yeah. But then when you get out, also the market is not as sweet as you think. Like, you know, I initially thought, oh, I'm gonna graduate. I see, you know, the average. I looked this up. Like, the average salary for lawyers is this. Oh yeah, everyone's getting this. And then you get out and it's like, no, everyone's not getting this. And I got that slap, that slap in the face of reality. My little nice dose of reality, and overcoming that period of my life, like I felt like that was like one of the darkest periods of my life, because a lot of people have entitlement issues. Like I felt like I had a law degree. I did everything I was supposed to do. And everyone who's around me, they can attest to this. I said it numerous times. I did everything I was supposed to do. Why am I not reaping the benefits of this? And going through that dark period has allowed me, one, to grow, but also to appreciate where I am now and to not take anything for granted.
Yeah, I always say, like, it's going to be competitive no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially where we are in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you're the best at what you are,
mm-hmm.
you'll be fine.
Yeah, people can't deny greatness.
Yeah. True that. All right, so let me ask you, what is your definition of adversity?
Adversity, to me, is, I would say overcoming obstacles that, adversity is intertwined with struggle to me. It's like overcoming very intense struggles that the average person cannot deal with. I would say something along those lines would be my definition, because you have to be a very strong person to overcome adversity, because adversity can break you depending on just your mental makeup. Like, your mental makeup determines everything. If you come across an adverse situation and you don't handle it correctly, that can literally change the entire outlook of your life. Like, the entire outlook of your life. So I would say, just being dealt with negative obstacles or circumstances and just being able to handle it correctly. Yeah.
Okay. What is some adversity that you overcome that you can speak to?
I'll just lay them all out. When I was younger and like we didn't have any money, I really thought that was normal. Like, for a quick second, I thought that was normal. I was like, because everyone around me didn't have money, so it wasn't like I knew different, And then I was in Atlanta and I went to high school, and I started realizing as I got older, and I started meeting people from different like high schools and things like that. Like there's money out, like, and like not even like saying like, oh, an unhealthy obsession with money, but more so that you can be comfortable, your family can be comfortable, and your economic situation is just settled. But not having money and like watching my mother struggle, that was something that I felt was adversity for me, because even the simplest things like going to college, like I knew a lot of kids that took college tours to every college they applied to, whereas I wanted to go to Los Angeles, and I couldn't go because I'd never been to Los Angeles, and my mom was like, we don't have the money to get to Los Angeles. When I came to St. John's, we were living in Atlanta. We took the Greyhound all the way up from Atlanta to New York, up there, and then I had to pay my mom to go back down on the Greyhound. So I took the Greyhound with a big ass, 2 big duffels, and then I had 1 big cardboard box that I shipped UPS ground, and that's how I got all my shit up to New York. And we're just taking an 18-hour bus ride or longer. I'm not sure. They make stops, but it was around that, just for me to get to college and for me to get to New York. So that was one instance of adversity, but that's just like my general life adversity. I think like something that was really, really more specific to me that determined my makeup and where I am in my space right now was definitely when I graduated law school and I came back to New York, and even that was a risk, When I was going to law school, a lot of people told me I shouldn't leave. You shouldn't leave New York. I was up there already. It's like, where do you want to practice law? I was like, New York. So why are you going to North Carolina to go to law school if you know for a fact you want to be in New York? And I didn't know, I'm just looking more at rankings. I'm like, oh, well, I got into this school's ranked here, and the schools I got into New York were ranked a little lower. So I was like, let me go to the best school that I can get into, not knowing that, when you're in New York City, you make connections and networking and, all those things that never really crossed my mind. I'm just looking at rankings, just, no mentor, no nothing. I'm just doing everything that I think is correct. And then I graduate law school. I come back to New York. I have no connections, just nothing. No connections, no job. No connections, no job. My grandfather had rented an apartment in the Bronx, but he got elderly, so he moved down. My mom's living in Virginia now. He moved down to Virginia with my mom so she can take care of him. And luckily, my grandfather had agreed to pay half of the rent at the apartment until I can get on my feet. So until I found a job. So I think he was paying half. I was paying like $600 a month. So I get back up to New York. I can't find a job, but I'm still expected to pay $600 a month for rent in this apartment in the Bronx. So I ended up I went to a recruiting agency. They couldn't find me anything like, as far as legal. I worked at KPMG in the mail room during tax season, like sorting mail and doing like bindings and like delivering basically these tax reports up to, the accountants and things of that nature. And nothing wrong with that job, but in that moment, I just felt like I was at an all-time low. It was like I graduated law school, I came back to New York, I just took the bar, I didn't find out my results yet, but I
felt like you were settling.
Not even settling. I felt like, I hate to say, but this was like so far beneath where I thought I would be right now. And I'm in New York. I'm making like what? Doing that was like $15 an hour. So all the money I was getting was basically going to rent. So I was broke. I was broke, and I'm like, I'm back in New York. I'm like, I know I want to be in New York. I know I want to be in New York. I know I want to be in New York. And then I get here, and nothing. Like, absolutely nothing was as I imagined. Absolutely nothing. So I do KPMG. I'm doing the mailroom thing. And the entire time, all of my friends, I'm like calling them, I'm complaining, I'm texting everyone, complaining, my mom, everyone who I possibly talk to, like, if you knew me at that time, like, you probably just hated talking to me because everything was just so negative. Like, I was just so negative in that moment. So then I ended up, I worked for this law firm for like a quick blip before I went to law school, and I hated it. And good people, but I hated it. Like, I hated being there. I hated, like, the company culture. Nothing wrong with it. It wasn't for me, But I said, you know what? I made a decision. I said, let me, like, get on my knees and call these people, because I need to start getting some kind of legal experience, after law school. I can't just be at KPMG working in the mailroom, doing binding. I need to get some legal experience and, like, hope for the best that, I can maybe stay there for a year and someone else will see that I worked there for a year and I worked at a law firm and then make the next jump. So I go back to this firm and they completely lowballed me. Like, they lowballed me. And I had to take it. Like, it was like I had nothing else on the table. I had nothing else going on. This job at KPMG was a temporary job. So that my assignment had ran out there. And I still had to pay rent and, just live in New York City, period. And it was terrible. So I'm like, and then on top of it, my grandfather's like, well, I can't keep paying the rent, So, like, you got to figure out something. You got to hurt. Damn, just spilled water all over myself. We'll survive.
Adversity.
But my grandfather was like, I can't keep paying the rent, so you got to hurt and move. So I said, okay, let me just take this now because I need more money now so that I can get out of my grandfather's apartment so we can, let go of that apartment and I can get on my own 2 feet. When I get back to this firm, like, if you go into something knowing you're going to hate it, because I've experienced it before, I did it before, and I knew I was going to hate this place. I knew it, but I guess I didn't really realize how much I was going to hate it because when I was there before, I was a paralegal. So I was doing half of the work that they were expecting me to do this time around, but for the same shitty-ass salary. And the hours I was working and the grunt work and just the stress. And it was more so, a lot of people were like, well, you should be happy you have a job, And I completely understand that. A lot of people came out of law school, did not have jobs. I understand that. But I can't subscribe to that mentality. Because if I subscribe to that mentality, then I'll always, keep myself at a certain level and grounded and never strive for more because I'm just focused on what other people's struggles. And yeah, I'm always in tune with other people's struggles. But in this situation where I know my value is higher, I know that I'm worth more. The market is telling me that people are getting this. And I'm getting way below my market value. Mm-hmm. And just being there was like, it was a blessing in disguise, but like it was just like so terrible. But in that moment, it taught me so much because I'm at my grandfather's apartment, right? The lights get cut off. The internet gets cut off. And for like a month, I'm literally going back to his apartment. I'm laying on the floor because I had to sell the furniture because I figured I was gonna move. I sell the furniture. I'm laying on the floor, no internet, no TV, no nothing. So I come home from work. I have no money to go out and hang out with my friends. And when I did hang out with you guys, it was just like I'm just credit card spending, like going into debt. And I go home and like literally it's like I'm just crying. Like I'm crying because like I'm just so fucking sad. Like I'm so fucking sad. I come back and I have no money and like everything I wanted to do, like everything that I planned on doing, when I got back to New York, it was just like the complete opposite. Like the complete fucking opposite. And I was just like, I don't know how I got here. I did everything I was supposed to do. Like I subscribed to everything you told me to do. You meaning like society. Like I went to school. I busted my ass in school. I went to law school. I busted my ass in law school. I took out all these loans so I can do this. Thinking that when I got out, I would get a great job. Thinking that I would be able to, help my mom, help my family with some financial things. And I'm sitting there, and in that moment, I felt so useless. Like, so useless. Every day I'm getting up, I'm going to a job I hate. I get up, I go to a job I fucking cannot stand. And in that moment, some good things happened. Obviously I have my friends. I met my girlfriend at the time. She, held me down. Like, she was, my sounding board. And I give her credit all the time for that. Because that was a really dark space. And I can't imagine, being with someone who's just, always fucking, miserable. Like, every time I was, anything that had anything to do with me going out or spending money or anything of that nature, it was, an argument or an attitude about that. And I just really wanted to progress. I saw more for myself. I saw so much more for myself. And I was like, this can't be what God has in plan for me. I can't be at this place. I can't be here, unhappy and not being able to do anything just because, just barely making it in New York City. Just barely making it. And for a long time, I was like, do I really want to be in this city? Did I make a mistake by coming back up here? And that was for months. I would say that was I came back up here August 2016. That was from August 2016 all the way until May 2017 of just every day, just being I will say about a good 9 months of just borderline depression. And just not knowing what my next steps were. So within those things, I always within those months, I would always set goals for myself, things I could always look forward to. So bar results came out October of 2016. They came out Halloween weekend actually. So I would always tell myself, all right, cool, I'm gonna be here for 2 months, and then once I pass the bar, somebody's gonna see I'm smart enough, and someone's gonna oh, he passed the bar, he's gonna be an attorney. We're gonna because a lot of firms don't want to take risks on people, because if you fail the bar, you can't take it into February. The results don't come until May. So it's we're paying you all this money, but you really can't practice, the law. Mm-hmm. So I was like, once I pass the bar, someone's gonna see. And then I passed the bar, and no one saw. and then it was back. And then I was back down this deep hole. For a week after I found out I passed the bar, I was happy as hell. Put it on my resume. Oh yeah, pass. 2016 New York bar exam. I was happy as fuck. I was like, someone's gonna see this and know that I deserve this. I deserve, everything that you think I deserve. I'm smart enough to do any type of legal work you want me to do. I'm intelligent, and you're gonna see it because I passed the bar. And that didn't happen. It didn't happen. Again, it didn't happen. For months, it didn't happen. And then I'm just every day sending out resumes, contacting recruiters, just in this really dark space where it was in the first, I honestly would say it was the first time in my life where I didn't feel wanted. And it sounds egotistical, but I've always put myself on this pedestal. Yeah, you're Jarel. Somebody wants you. I've always carried myself that way. You're Jarel. Someone wants you. You're Jarel. Someone wants you. And we'll jump past, just jump forward. But finally, I did get a job that that I enjoy now, and really appreciates me and respects me. But I learned so many things within that. The first thing I learned was to not let other people determine my self-worth. Because I literally determined how I felt about myself based on how much money I made, based on what job I had. But within that struggle, my girl always was no, you're a king. I see these things for you. You can do these things. Granted, these people don't see it yet, but these people not seeing it doesn't determine how you should feel about yourself. And I always felt like less of a man. Like, always I was like, oh, I'm not a man, I'm not doing this, I can't help anyone, I can't do anything. Yeah. And then those times, you know, I was just really, really in a dark space. So I definitely learned not to let other people determine my self-worth. Secondly, I would say like in college, I went through this phase where I was just like, would just spend recklessly. Like, spend recklessly, like, fuck it, like, I want to, you know, Louis Vuitton this, like, just stupid shit that, like, even now I look back, I'm like, why the fuck did you buy that, you know? And I think that if I didn't go through that dark space, I wouldn't have an appreciation for finances like I do now. Like, I have an intense appreciation for finance. Like, and I'm like, I read up on investing, all this stuff now, because I'm like, you know, money is just like, it's not more important than like love and friendship and like that, but it's still an important tool that people can use to, you know, to build yourself up. So I'm like learning more about like investing and finances, but it's just like, if I didn't go through that dark space, I wouldn't even care to like know about any of this stuff. Like, all right, cool, I'm making a decent salary now. I'm happy, you know, and like, and then keep with the frivolous spending and just doing nonsense. But now, I'm more conscious of everything I do, every single step of the way, because I'm like, you know what, they can take this from me any day now, and I never want to go back down to that, you know, ever. I never want to be in that space again, ever. And then the last thing and the most important thing I took away from that is to be more independent. Like, to just be more independent. Like, I never want to rely on any company or any firm or anything for me to eat. For me to eat. Like, if I lost my job today, I would find a way. I would always find a way. And before, in that period, I lost that. I lost that in myself, like that confidence and just that belief in myself that, you know, I really can do a lot of things. I was just like, someone hire me. Someone hire me, you know? Someone hire me. I need a job. Why won't you give me a job? And now, I'm not going to work for someone for the rest of my life. Like, I already know that. I'm not going to work for someone for the rest of my life. I haven't actually, like, figured out exactly what it is that I'm going to do. But when I figure that out, I'm going wholeheartedly 100%, like, in it, you know? And I need to be financially independent. I never want to rely on anyone else for another check. So if I lose everything, you take my job from me, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna hustle, I'm gonna survive, and like that is what I learned from that piece. That was a major adverse situation for me. It was very dark times, and I don't know. I'm just glad I made it through, man. It was dark, and I wasn't happy at all.
Wow. That's all I gotta say is like, thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
In order to really change and realize what you have to do. And I can relate so much to what you're saying. Like, I feel the same way now with my job. I've been working at a place I hate for over a year.
Damn.
You know how hard it is to wake up.
Yeah.
And go there because I feel like, now that I'm useless, I've got an understanding of my self-worth by being there, but
yeah.
I can't get anything else. I haven't been able to get another job. And so it's that same thing, like, I know I'm worth it, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't even feel like I matter. And that's the shittiest thing, to feel that way. And then in terms of like finance, you know, financials, like, it's crazy how I used to always think, money was a initial driving force for me too.
Yeah.
So I know how much money can drive you because growing up I didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, I have all these nice things. I can travel, I can afford all this stuff, but I'm still fucking miserable.
Yep.
So it's not about money.
Yeah.
And then you need to find what is it really. So it's almost like I'm always searching for what is this thing that's gonna make me really feel happy. And I think it's exactly this. It's feeling like I matter.
Yeah, that's the thing, because so for example, like the job I'm at now, right? They really value me. Like, they really value me, right? And sometimes I come home and like I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, but this is not what I want to do. Like, this is just not what I want to do. And like, they treat me really well. I'm just like, this is not what I want to do. And that's why I'm like, I haven't figured out my niche yet. Or is it niche? I think it's niche.
You can say both ways.
I think I'm gonna say niche. I haven't found
I like niche.
You like niche? Niche or
niche or niche?
I think we'll do niche. I haven't found my niche yet, exactly like what it is that like 100% makes me happy. But when I find that, you know what? That's a lie, because I'm talking about independently. As a collective, cooling out makes me. That's my niche. Like, that makes me excited. I've never done something that just came to me so naturally. Like, when we record, we push record and I just start talking, and we all just start talking, and it never was something that we never really planned it out. It was like, let's press record and start talking. Mm-hmm. And then everyone just found their roles, like, accordingly. Everyone just, like, and everything just flowed and meshed perfectly. So, I love doing cooling out, and, like, that's more of a group business. But as far as, like, my personal life and what I want to do professionally, I don't have 100% happiness there yet. I don't know that. But I do know, like, as a, aside with my business partners and, my friends, doing cooling out, I love that wholeheartedly, and I really enjoy doing that.
Can you speak to what about it you love so much?
It's everything, because on the daily, we have to be half of ourselves, or maybe even less when we go to work. I just can't be up in there being Jarel, I have to be Jarel, I have to go in there, and I have to give you a piece of me, because if I gave you all of me, then you wouldn't be able to handle it, Whereas on cooling out, I can do what I want, I can say what I want. It's just who we are, and also there's no gimmicks, there's no scripts, there's nothing. It's just a group of friends get together, and we talk shit like we would do on the norm. It's just that we're recording it. So I love that feeling. I love that natural feeling. I love that through the podcast we've met so many people. Like, so many, like, great artists, so many great creatives, so many just great spirits. Like, just natural spirits, and, like, I'm all about good vibes. And everyone who comes on the podcast has been, like, great vibes. And they come on, they show love, we show love back, and it's just been an amazing journey. So I would just say, the authenticity of the podcast is what I love so much about it.
Yeah, it's great when other people, like, validate what you're doing.
Because,
they go on and they're like, they thank you.
Yeah, I know. That's a very, I still don't ever get used to that. When people come on the podcast, like, oh, thank you. Well, all right, well, no, thank you. But yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, that's a lot, why labor started too, is like, I wasn't finding meaning in what I was doing in my job.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, I need to create something that's gonna make me feel like I matter.
Yeah.
And that's what this started, and it's very similar in the sense that I do talk with people, and to get their stories and, really gain perspective on life, and how to, and all these different topics, but, like, in general, just, like, how people live life differently.
Yeah.
It's always going to be so crazy to me. How people see things so differently, and man, that just intrigues the shit out of me.
Yeah. But that's the cool thing about doing something like this, though, because you get a lot of, like, different perspectives sitting right here on this couch,
Yeah.
And everyone in New York City just being, like, the melting pot that it is. It's just, like, so many different people, so many different perspectives, and things that I might find issues with, or I might find to be an adverse situation. Someone else would be like, that's nothing, Or it's just a cool thing. I really appreciate what you're doing here, man. This is dope.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So for adversity, what is your, is there any sort of advice you have for people who are going through something, adversity themselves, and how to deal with it?
Yeah. You gotta be patient. Like, I would say you have to be extremely patient. And be patient and make tactical decisions. Like, very, very calculated decisions. Because one of the things that I, like, specifically experienced was, like, I was very erratic and impatient. Like, I was like, I'm getting out of law school. Someone's gonna give me a job now. I want this amount of money. And, like, that was just literally where my mind was. Not knowing that there are lessons, there's lessons in the struggle. Like, I learned so many things about myself, and I've grown so much just by sitting there. And it's easier now because it's hindsight. I'm looking back at it, and, like, I'm like, wow, you should have done this then. or you should have been more patient then. You shouldn't have, yelled at this moment. You just different things. But I would definitely say being patient and having a strong support team, a very, very strong support system around you is important because, it makes it harder when you're just by yourself. If you're by yourself and you have no one to vent to. And I think I had a very, very strong support system. I had like my friends, I had you guys, I had my cousin D Green, I had my girl. She got most of it because, she lays next to me. So, but just having a strong support system and someone people that are always going to encourage you to keep moving forward, because it's difficult, but nothing, anything great, you're going to go through some level of adversity to achieve, because the same great things that you want, there's like 1,000 people that want the same thing. So it's just about being patient and, in a sense, waiting for your time. But then when it's your time, you got to go hard. But yeah, definitely being patient and having a strong support system. And just keeping your head on and just not overreacting. The world's not ending. Yeah. It may feel like that at times, but you just got to just sit back and lay down and relax and just let it pass. Because when it passes, you'll realize that it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. Yeah. Like at that moment, I'm bitching about money, but I have great friends, I have great friends, great support system. I met an amazing girl, and at that time I was ignoring all of that because I was just focused on one thing. Why don't I have this in my life? Instead of appreciating what I did have and waiting for that to come, because I knew it was going to come. I just wanted it to come right now. So it was extremely patient. So yeah, patience and having a strong support system.
Yeah, it's like the journey is more important than the destination.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're gonna learn so much on that journey.
Exactly.
And once you get to destination, it's like, what now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
No, this has been great, man. I have one final question for you.
Go ahead.
This is a question I ask every guest I have. Mm-hmm. It aligns with our mission at Labor. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna ask you, what is your advice to people on how to live a more creative and meaningful life?
Ooh. That's very that's actually difficult for me because I'm getting out of this habit, but I used to always say I'm not creative.
I'm gonna stop you there and just say one thing. We think everyone's creative.
Yeah, no. I get that a lot too. No, you are creative. You do the podcast. You're creative. Like, I don't really feel creative, but I would just say to stop overthinking. Like, stop overthinking. People have a tendency to overthink rather than act. And granted, you shouldn't just be acting. Like, you have to calculate, and think a little before you act. But sometimes you think too much, and when there's no action, then there can be no goal. When there's no action, there can be no creation because you're constantly just thinking without doing anything.
Exactly.
Even with the podcast, like, I didn't think. I joined on after, but if it would have been up to me, it would have been like, oh, well, what do you want to talk about? Like, oh, you sure you want to talk about this? And like that's just how I normally approach things. But it's more so just being. We need that inner child to come out. Like the other day, I was listening to Kanye West, Power, right? And he was like, somebody got, what did he say? Got something in my mind but couldn't open up my own vault. My childlike creativity, purity, and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts, And I heard that the other day, and I was like, yo, and like, you've heard it numerous times, but I was just like, yo, like this is true because we get so caught up in like, adult problems like bills and work and things like that. Like our mind is like crowded with things like that, and which is it's normal, it's natural, but we have to somehow find a way to tap back into our childlike creativity. Because children, they're very creative. They find ways to do everything. You take this from them, they'll find another way to do it, Yeah. And I think it's just not overthinking things and trying to tap back into that and not letting external forces and external ways of thinking stop you from just, doing what you want to do or think or acting on whatever your thoughts are.
I love it, man.
I try.
I love it. All right, words of wisdom right there with Jarel.
Hey.
Where can people follow you if they...
Oh, yeah. IG... I don't know my Snapchat. Don't do that. IG and Twitter, Jarel Lamar. That's JarelLamar. I think that's it. That's all they need. Oh, and then also check out Coolin' Out
Yeah.
on IG. It's Coolin' Out Pod, COOLINOUTPOD. Almost messed that up. I was like, oh, COO. But nah. Coolin' Out Pod on IG, Twitter, YouTube page, Coolin' Out Pod. Working on the website for CoolinOutPod.com. All that stuff. Talk weekly about sports, the culture, anything that's really popular in pop culture. We got you. Make sure you check that out.
Yeah, tune into Coolin' Out. It's a dope. I always say these guys are so good at conversation. Mm-hmm. Like they can talk about anything, and it'll be the deepest, best conversation about any topic, and it's so human.
Yeah,
which is what I appreciate the most.
I love it. Oh, you can find it on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, not Spotify. Sorry, that's it. SoundCloud. Oh, Google Play. Go check it out.
I just want to acknowledge you for a second.
Me?
Yeah, for coming on, and I think everything you said and the story you shared is so true to who you are. Like I always felt that way, but you just so much detail that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like you are someone who I consider like very gracious and really driven to get what he wants, and you get it in a very authentic way. Like you're not someone who cheats their way in life. Like you earn it, and I always sort of value you for that. Like your ability to just go after what you want, and again self-worth. You always know your self-worth, and even in the darkest times, like you didn't let that get the best of you. And now you can look back and reflect, and whatever challenge comes up next, you'll be able to overcome that because you've been through all this.
Yeah.
So
thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. This is amazing.
Thanks, man. Until next time.
I don't know what you said. This labor. I was like, this cool enough. I'm gonna take it over.
Labor.
You see.